Hello and welcome everyone, I am Tropin and I am free and open source software developer. After of RD and Guix home projects, and on this stream series, we talk about development tools, practices, share part of my usual workday, and travel towards a sustainable ethical business. On previous stream, we did a lot of work related to tree-sitter. We explored its capabilities, we enabled it in emacs and compiled grammars for it, and tried out to edit HTML file with tree-sitter and see how it differs from the usual mode for HTML. We saw the improvements in different areas in syntax highlighting, in iMenu navigation, and also we tried a structural navigation and editing and tried out a combo bullet package. If you're interested in this topic, please watch the previous stream. And also, I plan another stream on tree-sitter, support in Guix, and how to get everything together and make it polished as possible. Okay, that's it about previous stream, and today plan to talk about one trick or one approach I use to do a lot of work, at least in my opinion, a lot of work, and also which helps to solve hard problems and to make hard tasks which are big and hard to accomplish in a few hours or a few days. Sometimes they are even bigger, but we still manage somehow to accomplish them. And after that, we will do our usual work, but we will focus on the examples related to the approach I will be describing right now. Hello, Anton. Hello, Antares. It's always nice to greet you 2 times. Let's talk about the approach. It's not the only approach I use, but usually I do 2 different things. First one is to focus on one task and spend a lot of time on it, researching, developing, and polishing the solution. And I can spend a few days or sometimes even a few weeks in a row, but there are a lot of downsides of such approach. Maybe I can accomplish something quicker and to produce even a result of a good quality, but I will spend too much mental effort. I will burn out or get some other debuffs which affects my usual life, my social life, and so on, and also my health, like a physical and mental. That is why usually I prefer the different approach that I found maybe 2 years ago or some way around, when I start to experiment with the way I work, and when I had a lot of spare time to make such experiments. And this approach means that I can work on a few different tasks in parallel. Not at the same time, but during a few weeks I have a few tasks, and sometimes one day I work on one task, another day I work on another task, and so on. And this approach has many benefits that are not usually obvious, but I will try to explain which benefits I found here. First of all, you feel a little more relaxed. You don't feel so much pressure. You don't get too tired from the task. So every time you accomplish something, you do a small step, it is visible for you. It's not just a huge flow where you do a lot of work, but it's already so tiring, so you don't even notice when you're progressing. When you switch from task to task and go back to the task, you can see how much progress you already done during last few days or few weeks. And this is important to feel that you are progressing. And also it forces you to split the task on smaller steps, so you can accomplish them in a few hours or in a few days and switch to the other task. And every time you get some result which is already valuable or measurable, and you feel the progress this way. And it's very, very nice. Also, it allows to batch a lot of small tasks and do them with a small amount of time without switching between them. Because when you work on different tasks on the same project, it's often the case when you do repetitive work or similar work on a few different areas of your project, and you can actually batch this work and do it in one time and make it more efficient. So it's also some kind of productivity benefit where you can take a set of tasks which are very similar or from the one area and to accomplish them in one go. Also, when I do a few tasks in parallel, each task takes a longer period of time to accomplish it, because you switch from one task to another in different days, and that increases the time when you release your result, but it also adds you time to think and also to get more knowledge and skill to accomplish these tasks. So it's usually easier to finish your task when you have more time on this task, even if you don't work on this task the whole time you allocated to it. And switching between tasks means that you have a more time for one task, but you spend time actually working on it the same amount as if you did it in one go. I hope I explained it clear. A little bit cumbersome, but I still hope you understood what I mean. Sound is nice. Thank you very much. For some reason, Pipewire, after plugging my microphone, not starting capturing the sound from the beginning, and I need to adjust it. And that is why I am not always sure that sound works okay. Thank you for replying. Okay. Another thing that I already mentioned, that you process in the background stuff related to the task. You do it in a longer period of time, and you have a more time when you don't work on the task directly, but you still process some related stuff to this task in the background, and after you get back to this task, you get more insights and more information and all that stuff, and it's easier to solve it, to find a better solution. Okay, another benefit of spending more time on the task, like making the period when you work on the task longer, that in the meantime someone can also work on this task, and part of your work or part of the work you would like to be accomplished can be done by someone, or maybe not exactly the work you wanted to accomplish, but some other related work which helps you to solve this task easier. And that's also quite nice. Some tasks I postpone for months, and after that I realized that there was already some work in this direction, and what I need to be done is much smaller in the scope and much easier, because some proof of concept was already implemented, maybe even some minimal valuable prototype already created, and that is why doing the task in a longer period of time can be beneficial for you too. Also, focusing too much on the one task prevent you from relaxing and resting. You get in a loop of constant stress, and that is why it became harder to think about the task, to adjust and reevaluate priorities of things you need to do, and you keep going and doing something. You already spent a lot of time and you want to finally achieve the end goal, and exhausting yourself mentally and physically, and it can provide negative effect on the quality of the work, on the quality of your life. And when you allocate more time and get a few tasks in work in parallel, you get more opportunities to relax, to get some rest, and every time you switch back to the task in a few days or maybe a week, you get almost a fresh look at the problem, and you can find better solutions. You can understand what should be done first and what can be done later, and also you can reevaluate the priorities of the parts of the task itself, or the problem itself, or even which tasks you should do and which you can postpone at all, or maybe decline. And that's a list of things I would like to share with you. I don't know how it's helpful for you, but it was helpful for me, and I decided to share it. Maybe someone will find it useful and will apply to their workflow and get better results. Okay, yesterday we started to work on the tree sitter, and let's finalize and let's commit some results and share them with other developers and get some comments from them. For this, I will take what we had yesterday in terms of code, I will adjust it, prepare a patch, and send it to guix patches mailing list, and also I will CC people who probably interested in this patch, and we'll see what they will reply. I mean, we'll see it later, probably in a week or two, but still, we need to finalize our results and kinda commit them, but not in terms of Git, but in terms of sharing it with other people. Okay, here I have our work, but also we can search for tree sitter emails, and here we have a thread almost 1.5 year old one, and it's still not merged as far as I remember, and there was some work done here, and also a few threads that I mentioned yesterday related to tree sitter, the threads that we also found useful and took a patch from it and applied it to the master branch of the guix for enabling tree sitter support in emacs 29, or actually almost emacs 30 right now. And let's go to the to this long thread of almost 300 emails. And here we see, I already read this thread partially in the web interface. Uh, the patch series contains a lot of useful stuff. It contains a tree-setter itself. It contains tree-setter grammars. It contains tree-setter CLI and a few Rust libraries, and also Rust Emacs model and Emacs related packages. And there are a lot of stuff going on here in the one thread, and as you can see, a few iterations of those patch series, and it's really hard to review all of them and merge them. Actually, not that hard as it seems, but it's harder than reviewing and merging a patch which contains only one modified files with 20 lines. This patch series is much bigger than that, and that is why probably nobody committed it yet, or partially committed it at least. And that is why I will take the work which is already done here. I will take the work which we've done yesterday, and we'll take something very specific and small with a small scope, and prepare a patch, and we'll send this patch to a separate thread, and we'll CC all the parties who can be interested in it. Okay, and let's see that we have emails from January, the end of January, and from the yesterday. And in this email, Lewis talks about built-in emacs support, which we actually tried yesterday, and probably the part related to the Rust in this patch series and to emacs tree-setter package will be not relevant for us, because we would like to use built-in tree-set package and to base our work on it. But we're still interested in the grammars, and also we're interested in the approach Lewis mentioned here. He did the following thing. He slightly renamed the final file name for tree-setter grammar. Actually, we already have our tree-setter grammars with correct name, but we will need to move them to the separate directory. I will explain later why. And also, he provides a nice addition to Emacs package definition, which adds tree-setter grammars variable, which look up lib tree-setter directory, and after that he shows a snippet of the code which allows to obtain the grammars from this environment variable. And this is actually the solution I thought about to make the grammars automatically available without editing tree-set extra load path manually. And probably we will use something like this solution in our patch for Emacs, but we will do it later. First of all, I will do work related to packaging three-seater grammars, and this work is quite atomic and not emacs specific, I would say. And that is why I think we can take a look at the latest version in this patch series, and it's probably version 7. Let's see. Yep, probably it's version 7. And here we can take a look at the three-seater grammar. The approach used by Pierre, I hope I pronounce the name correctly, to make a three-seater build system and use it for building three-seater packages. I don't think that we need a separate build system for three-seater grammars. We can do the way it is done in our example. Let me show. When we have a function which returns a package definition based on a few arguments, I think it's enough for the three-seater package. But let's explore. Let's explore what we have in three-seater build system. Build system. It seems it uses Node and three-seater CLI. And let's see what actual phases here. Uh, it seems it does some additional preparation before executing the compilation itself. Okay, it seems that he went much deeper than we did, and he prevents the usage of parser C, which automatically generated file, and probably all other files here automatically generated from grammar. From grammar.js. Let's see the package definition we have here. Let's we see that we always delete binding.gyp, bindings, grammar.json, not types.json, and parser C. Let's see. Probably parser C is automatically generated. That is why the build system for tree-sitter was implemented, and tree-sitter CLI was packaged to make it possible to build the library from only small bootstrap seed called grammar.js. And that's actually cool. It's a lot of work done to achieve a cleaner approach and more complete approach for building tree-sitter grammars. Okay, what I would like to do to proceed here, I would like to proceed with the small steps. First step will be defining such a function that we already almost have, and defining one grammar. And having only this thing, we already can experiment with tree-sitter in guix, provide other grammars, and later we can change the implementation of this function to build this package differently. For example, using the approach proposed by PR. And we won't be relying on files, which is after generated source code. And we will need only grammar.js. And that's it. Okay, and it seems that we will need to package a 3-seater CLI to make it possible. So it seems we can do this in parallel. First of all, we can package this one. Also, in parallel, we can package 3-seater CLI. And after that, migrate this code to the approach used by Pierre. It's a smaller steps, which are more manageable, which are easier to review and easier to merge, and which will already bring some value to people. And after that, we will iterate and improve on the building process. This is my plan. Okay, and recently I realized that we don't need this patch. We don't need those steps. I don't know why this step appears here. I understand why this step could appear, but it seems it's not necessary. It probably was necessary for building grammars for 3-seater package, for external 3-seater package, but for built-in 3-seater package it doesn't seem to be needed, and that is why I will remove all that stuff from the emacs 3-seater grammar function and from the packages it generates. I will remove it to 3-seater grammar because it's not 3-seater emacs related. It's a generic 3-seater grammar. Also, we will need to do the same stuff here. And also we will need to output it to 3-seater subdirectory. Three-seater. The reason why we need to do it, let's take a look at the example of the profile of my home profile at the lib directory, and we see a lot of directories here, and each directory contains its own libraries. Also, there are some libraries in the root of this directory, but many of them are subdirectories. And for example, we have OBS plugins, and inside OBS plugins we have a different SO libraries. And the same way we would like to do for the 3-seater. And later we will use it for actually finding 3-seater grammars automatically in Emacs. That's basically it that I would like to introduce to our updated package. And let's recompile our model and let's rebuild the package, but it will be 3-seater grammar HTML, not Emacs. And it was built correctly, and let's check that it works. I will open a new Emacs instance and we'll call setq 3-seat extra load pass. And here we go, lib 3-seater. Oops, lib 3-seater. Like this. And now let's call 3-seat ready p.html. Okay, 3-seat require 3-seat. And now 3-seat ready p.html works. And I guess guix HTML will work as well. And what we have here, HTML TS mod. And we see XML length highlighted correctly. That means that our grammar probably works correctly. The highlight of those strings looks a little bit strange because I expect them to be blue. But okay, whatever. It's not that important. The important part that our basic HTML mod highlights incorrectly this stuff, and when I do tree-sitter based mod, it highlighted correctly. That means that tree-sitter grammar at least works somehow. Okay, that means that we built our grammar and it works. And I'm fine with the results we have here. It's HTML grammar for tree-sitter. Probably we can make another variable synopsis which says string append and here instead of synopsis how we call this argument? It's correctly spelled language. I mean, with correct case. When lang means that we will use a lowercase, this one I would expect to be okay. What we can do something like this, and here I will define a length with lower string down case, string down case length, like this. And let's try it. Let's use HTML here. packages emacs. It's probably in just the emacs model. Unfortunately, I don't do what I planned to do. I planned to commit a lot of stuff which are still in progress, or almost complete but not yet committed. And instead of it, I still work on a max resetter. I think that we will finish right now, almost right now. The last bit I have, and we'll go back to RD and commit many small things that I have in a batch. And after that, we'll come back to tree-sitter if we will have time. Okay. Okay. It was probably a bad idea to use lang itself, because lang should be CPP, but here is C++ and so on. That is why it's better to have a separate argument for it. In synopsis. Like this. Okay, let's check that it works. Let's see what we have here. Package emacs tree-sitter grammar HTML. Package name. Let's call package synopsis. HTML grammar for tree-sitter. And description. Whoops. Looks okay. What about license for tree-sitter grammars? MIT. Also, we can make a parameter for the license in case we will have grammars with different licenses. Edit model. Oh, okay. Some people call it the MIT. Okay, it was correct value. Cool. The package definition looks almost complete to me. A little cumbersome, this conditional compilation. And also usage of GNU build system when we actually use only build and install phases, which we could do with trivial build system. But okay, let's get to it later. Let's do a lot of small commits for the stuff I have accumulated here for a while, and after that we will go back to the tree sitter. Okay. I will be just committing different stuff. And first one is related to git getter transient package. I just added a link to transient tutorial. Which explains how to use transient to achieve different results. And it was just a note for myself, for current myself and future myself. But I think it's okay to keep it inside the source code. And that is why git getter transient add link to transient tutorial. Also, inside feature GNU-PG, I have temporarily enabled Shepherd for GNU-PG, and that means that heart status should show GPG agent, which I don't use, and I enabled it only for the testing purpose to make sure that some bug exists. I introduced it earlier during modification of GNU-PG service, and right now I don't need it all. I will just drop this change. And here one more small change that I would like commit as well. Actually, I can keep it in one line, like this. RD sway, don't add xway length disable. Disabled. The reason I did this change to make it easier to enable xway length by extending home service and not getting two xway length directives in the same config. The reason I don't add xway length disable because sometimes I would like to just extend a home sway service with equivalent enable somewhere in a separate place, and with the previous implementation it will lead to the two equivalent directives in the same configuration, which can produce some warnings. And that is why I modified the implementation a little. Okay, emacs xyz package we will commit later. Here I have changes related to modus themes and also related to the guile. Let's commit guile first. We don't need this comment anymore. Everything works as we expect, I guess. Let me check that this variable is nil. Yep, it's nil. Default implementation, active implementation, implementation list. It works as expected. Very nice. It's not a perfect, but still good. And later we can make it more flexible. Let's commit it. And now we can say rd emacs geyser. Emacs geyser, what we have here? Set package options after respective after it loaded. Emacs feature options after it loaded. Okay, like this. That means that here we set unconditionally those variables even if geyser not loaded at all. And here we set those variables only after a specific feature loaded. It makes loading a little lazier. And also it prevents warnings during compilation. And sounds good to me. Okay. Now let's see what we have here in Emacs appearance. Oh, also I saw an email in my work inbox related to appearance. Which splits modus Emacs modus seems to a separate feature. And also minions package. Let me see what this package does. Minions Emacs. Mhm. Actually, it makes sense to split out modus to a separate feature. Because somebody may like other color scheme. The reason why I have emacs modus seems a part of emacs appearance feature is because modus seems is not only about color scheme but also about usability, and that's one of the goals of RD, to provide a usable environment out of the box with good fonts, with good contrast, with sharp text and so on, so it's safe to work on it. And probably Max Sims is Modus Sims is most advanced sim at the moment, which covers a lot of usability use cases and constantly improving. It has a Ditronapia variant, which allows people with color blindness to work easier in Emacs, and a lot of other useful stuff. And I will need to think separately on this thread. I will mark it as unread. So I will back to it soon. Okay, it probably hides minor modes under menu and don't pollute mod line. Yep. Okay, that makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense to move to a separate feature. I will think and reply on the email later. I think it's a good default. We already not providing minor modes in modline, but if we provide, a menu for minor mods to be accessible, it will just improve user experience, I guess. Okay, that's why I will commit the changes related to the new version of Modus Sims. Oops. Okay, probably I need to commit it in a few steps. On stage, first step will be committing the update related to Emacs Modus Sims. And the second one will be related to the Taranapia red-blue diffs. Okay, I need to commit only one line here. this one. After that, I need to commit this one. And I think we can commit this empty line too. Okay. What we do here? rd emacs appearance. And use modus seams from upstream repo from guix channel. Update according to 402 changes. In this version, bg removed intents was renamed to fringe, and all other like added and changed as well. That is why to migrate to this version we need to make those updates. Okay, good. And now we can commit the turn appear red blue diffs. Stage. That's it. Now let's commit it. Whoops. Add the turn appear red blue diffs argument. That's it. Why do I commit the changes to the same feature in a few different commits? To make the history more atomic and easier to track why some changes was done. To make easier to revert commits, or to reorder them and so on. And easier to dig in history and understand why some changes was done. And having one big commit which just updates the feature makes it harder to understand why part of those changes was done, because everything is committed in one go, and probably not very detailed. The explanation is not very detailed, and a few different things which are unrelated in the same commit also makes it harder in the future to realize, to understand why this change happened and why it's here. That is why it almost always better to make commits as small as possible. Okay, what else we have here? We have updated the Emacs version. Packages emacs next pgtk stable. Update to upstream version. It also enables a reset upstream package also enables at reset. Inherited by this package. Okay. What else we can do here? We can remove this package. Because we don't need it anymore. Unfortunately. The div looks incorrect. Okay, what we can do? We can just stash those changes, I guess. Let's try it. Stash. I always confused by index work tree stashed and staged and unstaged changes and don't remember which one is which. And I guess index is something that is staged. Tree setter. Yep, and I guessed correctly. After we stashed those changes, let's remove modus, the theme's latest from RD packages. Max modus theme's latest. Remove it. Upstream version. Actually, version is up to date. Use it instead. Okay, another small commit related to closure feature. Disable xref, cider xref, prefer closure lsp for it. Okay, That's nice. What else we have? We have modified pre-inst here. But the changes doesn't make too much sense to commit. Feature list equivalent to default application launcher. I use Rofi right now. I still don't know if it makes sense to use Rofi or not. The problem with Emacs as application launcher is that there's a sway bug which prevents us from setting floating windows with rules. It's just make the positioning of those floating windows very weird, and it's not yet resolved even in very recent sway versions. And that is why application launcher, Emacs application launcher, uses non-floating windows, which is a little strange, but you know, it works. And I don't know if we need it. I would just drop all those changes. I don't need equivalent. I was testing it for launching an application and checking if it crashes or not under equivalent, and that's it. So I can remove it. And also I'm quite fine with HTML Emacs as my application launcher. And here I just tested feature Rofi if it works after update of the Rofi itself, and it works. So I can drop this stuff too. Also, let's see what we have here. Here I have YouTube DL and YouTube DLP packages, both. Whoops. But I don't need YouTube DL as YTDLP is more featureful, and I guess I will use it in most cases. And let's start committing it. Examples. Use instead of YouTube DL. Change handspell model. Add feature Emacs time. Probably according to feature Emacs time. I'm not sure if I need to move this stuff to the default value. Let's remove this commit. Reset soft. Okay, let's commit it later when I will decide if we need to commit it or not. Let's unstage those changes. What we have here, emacs rainbow and combo blade packages. I don't actually think that it also belongs to my personal config. Maybe it's better to generalize and provide as an option to some other feature. So maybe I don't need to commit it as well. So let's unstage it too, and let's think about it later. Emacs rainbow mod, I would say it's nice to have. I think we can commit it. Also, I need to commit it for sure. Update emails. Update mail accounts. Actually, Demis did a lot of work related to hiding this information. Like you will be able not to commit your actual emails to the config, but obtain them from the password manager or secret manager. That makes sense, and it's more privacy friendly. But we still not finished the work on this stuff. But I hope we can get to it in a few days or weeks and finish it finally. Okay. Here we rearrange features and put user-specific feature at the end. And it's probably some reason for it, why I did it. Because, you know, our code still order-specific. And that's probably done to make the effect of my personal features to override some values from the all features. Reorder feature lists. Users override. Okay, I will make explanation in the body. Reorder feature list to make the changes from users features appear later, and those take original values like this. Actually, I don't know if this part was updated. Probably it is. I don't use A2P too much. That is why I'm not very sure. But let's say update A2P proxy port. Here I have a cool example of the usage. Origin as file-like object to get wallpaper from the remote site instead of storing it somewhere locally. And I quite like this example. So I will move it to use models, packages and downloads, guix packages and downloads. And let's commit it. And this stuff. Okay, why it's not staged? Add an example of wallpapers from remote URL. Okay, good. We committed almost everything that we had in progress. This is just nonsense stuff I just used to test it. Dear locals. Probably I just need to remove all the stuff related to setting geyser variables. I don't know if it will be useful or not. So let's keep it for now. I will get back to it with a fresh mind. Also, we need to commit this change to getting started. update path to build profiles. Config. And this one, we also would like to commit it. Examples, update, channels log 7. We don't need those changes. From these changes, we would like to commit this one, but I need to make a decision, and I don't want to make decisions when I'm tired. And this one is also probably better to place somewhere else. Oh, and one more thing that we forgot is to bring our stash back. And here we have a small trouble, a merge conflict. Merge, keep current, and let's just remove it. That's it. Okay, and now we can unstage it. And also let's drop this stash. And after stash 2, that's right. We figured this problem out, so we can remove it. Tests. Remove unnecessary import. The problem was with incorrect load path, which was updated automatically by Geyser when you start a REPL and even when you connect to REPL. And I think that it shouldn't modify load passes when you do Geyser connect. But it still did it. We disabled it with a simple update to the variable, which we done in the first commit, or not the first, in the third commit for today. With this line, how I pick only one line. Yeah, like this one. Also, you probably noticed that the yellow color is not that popping, aggressive, and that is why prod updated the shade of yellow color, and for now it looks much better to me and doesn't distract from the work. And he did a lot of other changes to the model themes, and this is why we committed a few updates to the modus, to the emacs appearance related to modus. You can learn it from the git log, and also you can try some of them using this additional argument. Okay, what else we have here? Test runners. Probably we need to dedicate some time to this namespace, but I still would like to commit part of it. Test runners, add to the docs about different test runners. I don't want to go over but it's okay. Let's see, if we update test runner factory, it should still work. We manually create test runner here. Actually, we don't even need to create a test runner because, you know, test begin will create it itself. And most of this stuff is also not necessary anymore. I think that we can at least commit this thing. Test runners set factory on model load, like this. You can drop this stuff, we can drop this stuff, we can drop this stuff as well. I think we can do like this. And let's check if it still works. I need to call check. Okay, it fails. Very interesting. Very interesting. Why it fails? Is it fails for the same reason we had before? Do you remember that I committed this thing about unnecessary import? Let's revert this commit. Revert commits. This one. I reverted it, and let's restart the tests. Now it works. Okay. That means that when we run our tests, this way, it fails. Guile load pass. Let's echo guile load pass. src run current profile guile site 3.0. Okay, it's very strange. Still very strange. Okay, what we can do? We can make interactive rebase. And in this interactive rebase, just move this commit here and drop this commit. And now when it is on top of our commit list, I will just make a soft reset to keep these changes locally, but not committed. Okay. And we will commit them later when we will figure out the problem. According to this stuff, test runners use more simpler approach, exploring for finding test models. That's it. This way we have everything almost everything committed. We can just keep it, and later we'll come back to it, but most of the stuff is committed right now. The last thing that is not finished is tree-sitter related, but I guess I will make a whole stream related to tree-sitter and guix. That is why we will finish it on this stream. Maybe something else we would like to commit here. Okay, what we have? Examples at emacs rainbow mod package. We can commit it, and everything else will require some additional work. Okay, That's it. You can see how I get 20 commits out of my work in progress stuff, and I just cleaned everything up, and that's how I batch a lot of small tasks, which usually distracts and feels, not quite good. But when I batch them, it's quite efficient to do a lot of stuff in one go. And I like to do it this way. I can experiment, can explore my creativity, try and fail with different approaches, and when everything is in almost ready state, I just need to commit it and share the work of a good quality with the rest of RD users. Okay, I think it would be it for today. The work on Tree-Sitter we will continue, I guess, tomorrow or maybe on Thursday. And as a conclusion, I would say there is no perfect way to work. Everyone is different. Don't be afraid to experiment what works better for you and find a better approach to work. And don't forget to take care of yourself. Don't spend all your time on the work, because it can have a negative impact on your life. Try to be careful to yourself and listen to yourself and see when something going wrong and react to it somehow. Thank you very much for your attention, and I will see you